not me, but thank you so much.
Well,
So,
I'm glad.
my friend, you have to say hello to Vanessa and Ashka and Ayan Mukherjee and Gunjan.
Okay, so I'm going to try and do that from my memory. Vanessa,
Ashka,
Ashika, hello. I hope you're well. Ayan, awesome. Gunjan, sending you my love.
and Chetali.
And Shetty, I hope you're really well one day in person.
I hope so too, and I hope that I was. I didn't at that point of time. We were not really. I hadn't connected with you, and I didn't know how to. But in the month of March, I was going to come to LA, and I was finding ways to try and meet you. So I would have probably actually called Shamita and said, she's a dear friend. So I would have asked her to connect me to you probably.
Yeah.
But then the pandemic happened, and I think it is both curse and a purging for the most of us. And in between all of that, you wrote this book, and so I'm going to dive right into it without much ado. So what I wanted to ask you first was that, more than often we always talk about, obviously there's a lot of awareness about mental health and depression and how to deal with it and how everybody should come out and talk about it. But what I wanted to ask you was that, when there's a heartbreak or, a family member or a close one passes away, obviously the sadness that you feel, the angst that you go through is a lot to handle, and it's very, very understandable when a person goes through the depressive feelings or the restlessness or the anxiety. But how to, apart from that, my question to you is how to not fall into depression. What can be done from, say, an early age to avoid it? Because, we're always surrounded with these work insecurities and our personal issues, and we collect and sit on this pile of garbage every single day. That's how I feel like we treat our minds. We collect everything like, it's almost like collecting the entire garbage in your house and sitting right on top of it. So how do you kind of avoid doing that from an early age?
That's a really good question, and it's a proactive question in what can be...
How to not be depressed. Everybody talks about when you feel depressed, what you should do.
Yes. So one of the biggest things is that all of our adult challenges in life come from our childhood challenges. And so you're right in asking this question, because psychology talks about how as children, anything we experience, what we do or don't get from our parents becomes what we look for from the world. So if we never received validation from our parents, we look for validation in others. If we never received praise or connection from our family, then we look for praise and connection outside of us as we become adults. And so our whole life is seeking and chasing what we didn't experience as the childhood version of ourselves. So the beginning of that is to actually ask yourself, what is it in my life that I see myself craving from other people, chasing in other people, and how can I give that to myself first? How can I start with myself, and whatever I'm looking for, whether I'm looking for validation, whether I'm looking for praise, whether I'm looking for confidence, attraction, whatever it is, how can I first have that with myself? And that starts by actually spending time with ourselves. We're always running to spend time with other people. We're always running to be socially around other people, but we don't spend time with our own mind and body. And so the beginning of it is actually checking in once a week, being still and calm with yourself, even if it's for 5 minutes, and just taking a moment and saying, how do I feel today? How's my mind? How's my body? How's my heart today? What does my heart need today? What does my mind need today? When you have this conversation with yourself, and by the way, it's not crazy to do this because we always ask other people, how are you doing today? But we never ask ourselves that question. So starting a conversation with yourself means that when you're on the verge of pressure, stress, whatever it may be, your mind and body have an opportunity to communicate with you how they feel. So those are some of the ways that in the beginning, and of course there are habits we can talk about as we develop this conversation, but the first principle at the